Hello, hello, hello. This is Dragos back on the Dragos Energy Podcast, the podcast that has my name. How very appropriate. Yes, megalomania, narcissism, which one is it? We don't know. I got some updates, guys. I just came back from Romania, literally came back today from the wonderful land of Romania, Bucharest to be specific. I spent 5 days over there. I met some friends, met my dad, and also I did free shows. Free shows, can you believe it? I cannot. I did 3 shows in Romania. One of them was on Sunday, one of them was on Monday, and the third one was actually on Monday at 4:30. It was very great. Thank you very much to Clubul 99, Club 99 for hosting me over there. I think sold in total, all the shows we sold about 280 tickets, which is amazing. I think this is my most successful run yet. And I gotta be honest with you guys, before going to do these shows in Romania, I had not been in Romania for over 2 years now because of COVID, right? So I didn't really know what to expect. And as you might know, a lot of this growth that I had experienced recently in terms of funds has happened during the pandemic, because I've been editing stuff and I've been putting them on TikTok, and people were like, oh my God, this guy, he's talking about Uzbekistan and I am from Uzbekistan. What? You said something about Georgia and Turkey, and all these references that I give in the shows. And it was I was nervous, to be honest. I was nervous going back to Romania. I would not know how I would be received by my own people. What if they're like, Dragos, you talk so much about Romania and you're not funny, kill yourself. But fortunately, that was not the case. And I got to learn this from the very first hour of the day. I had to fly to Romania at like 7 a.m. in the morning via Ryanair, because I do not make the big money to get Lufthansa's or anything of the sorts. But basically, I went to the airport here in Berlin at 5 a.m. in the morning because I wanted to get there before my flight. And by the way, Berlin airport, 5 a.m. on a Wednesday, was absolutely packed. It was packed. There's people everywhere. I was like, what the fuck, am I going to miss my flight? And I actually had to run to catch my flight, which was very, very interesting, because once I got to the gate, there were a lot of people there. And for the first time at an airport, people were like, oh my God, is this Dragos? Are you Dragos from TikTok? Because usually sometimes people come to the show, they're like, oh, you're the guy from TikTok. But it has never happened to me to get recognized like at the airport. It's the first time somebody recognized me at the airport. So it's a pretty big deal. I guess for me, I was like hello. And we took some photos and stuff. And even on the train back, the plane, the lady next to me was like, oh, you're Dragos. I came to a show. So she didn't recognize me from TikTok, but she had come from a show. So that was very interesting. I was like, oh, am I going back to a whole new Romania where I cannot bear the weight of my own fame? Well, not quite like that, but when I was in Romania, I was walking down the street, because I do like walking down the streets in Romania. It's one of my pastimes, one of my hobbies. I like walking down the streets. In Bucharest, I was just walking around to see what has changed. And actually, this one kid, which I think was like 17 or 16, he recognized me and was like, hey man, can we take a photo? And I was like, let's do it. And then it kind of quieted down for a period. Until actually when I flew back and the guy at the airport recognized me. So it was pretty cool. It's like experiencing this new world of like getting recognized in the street. I had been recognized before in Berlin by random people eating kebabs. I'm not even joking. Random people nomming on kebabs have been recognizing me. But it's definitely interesting to see this, the fruits of the labor of the lockdown, because all this editing of the video happened during the lockdown, and now people are like, oh my God, you're the guy. So it was pretty good, and we didn't have that much difficulty in selling the shows. It was minimum advertising just for my TikTok, Instagram, and some ads as well. But it was pretty cool, and I just wanted to share some impressions of having not been in Romania, having not visited Romania for the past 2 years. I was pretty impressed, and I hadn't, normally I didn't really spend that much time in Bucharest, right? So this time around, I had the chance to hang out with my friend Patricia. Shout out to Patty. She took me to a couple of hipster cafes. And I was surprised to see, we talked to some of her friends and some other friends, and I was surprised to see how opulent the city is now. Yes, at least the places where I've been walking around, you just walk around the city center, it seems like there's a lot of the construction has been finished, and Bucharest looks very fancy, fancy with a mix of like Soviet, It's fancy, so it's fancy capitalism Soviet hybrid. So it was kind of interesting to see that little change in the city, and just the fancy cafes, the fancy places. We went to went to free cafes, and they all seem particularly hipster. And from what my friends are telling me, it seems like people are making a lot more money now in Romania, so they can afford good things. Again, a lot of these friends that I'm referencing tend to work in IT or for some form of corporate company, or they work as a freelance contractor of sorts, so they're making moolah. They're making the money. They're making the RON. RON is the currency in Romania. So I was kind of surprised to see that the whole ecosystem has kind of evolved. It's not as depressing and poor as I remember it to be. At least, well, this is my memories of my own town, but I think maybe my own town has also elevated quite a lot. So it seems to be richer as a country now, and people have stronger spending power, which means more expensive tickets next time we go back. But this was like basically Wednesday, Thursday, just going around the city, seeing places. I also went and I saw the wonderful... Oh, by the way, Netflix has been pushing The Witcher heavily in Romania. Massive billboards everywhere. Go watch The Witcher. Go watch The Witcher. I watched The Witcher. It was alright. Pretty decent. And I also went and watched Spider-Man at the cinema. The cinema Băneasa, it's called. Băneasa Cinema. Where, Jesus Christ, I think this is the biggest cinema I've ever been in my life. We went to like this massive screen. I was like, what the fuck, am I in a parking lot here? Is this like a car cinema thing? It was massive, and it was like 1 p.m. in the day, so it was mostly empty. But Spider-Man was pretty chill. Spoiler alert. Maybe I'm not gonna give too many spoilers if you haven't seen it. It's definitely there, just throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this franchise, like all the references, all the callbacks to the previous movies. It was a pretty good movie. Did not really seem, I didn't feel it was as emotionally charged as it could have been. I think obviously Avengers Endgame was much stronger in my opinion, but it was a good watch. If you want to see it, go ahead and see it. Maybe I'll find somebody to review this with in more detail. So that's how I spent my time there. And then, you know, the shows. Let's talk about the shows. That's what we want to talk about, the shows, right? The shows were on Sunday and Monday. So we did basically an early show at 4:30, which was supposed to be the Romanian threesome comedy show with myself, Magda, and Victor Petrășcan. But it was just me, Magda, and Gabriel Gheorghe who opened for us, a Romanian comedian who's trying to do more stuff in English because Victor had COVID. So it was more of a Romanian duo, I guess, plus Gabriel. But the reception was great. People were there. The majority of the people in the audience were of the Romanian persuasion. Yes, I do a little bit of a census at the start of the show to figure out who is from where and how is who then can. So it's very interesting to see that a lot of the Romanians came to see another Romanian perform in English. It was pretty cool. It wasn't awkward or anything of the sorts. They were just like, yeah, man, you fucking do your thing. This is what you do, and we are here for it. So I was very pleasantly surprised to see that we had so many people at the show, and they're all on it. We had the crowd work still worked. I'm gonna basically cut up some clips and put them up on TikTok and YouTube in the coming days. But everything flowed. There was good flow, good. I was not nervous on stage or anything of the sorts. There was no particular awkwardness in interacting with the people. So overall, good impression. The first show as well, we even managed to film it. The guys at Club 99, shout out to them. They managed to film it and already send it over to me. So I might consider putting it out. Currently a bit not super, I'm undeciding whether it's the wise decision to put it out, because if I put it out then I run out of material to tour next year. However, that might force me to write more material, so who knows what the situation is. Maybe I'll put it behind a paywall and just do more crowd work. We don't know what the future holds for us. But maybe you can give me some feedback. Do you want to see it? If you had already seen my show, would you still be willing to pay, I don't know, 8 euros or 10 euros online to watch this Romanian recorded show with more crowd work and better audio? Shout out to better audio, which, by the way, I'm going to buy a fucking Zoom mic of sorts, and I'm going to figure out a way to just up the production for some of the stuff. It's just been a bit difficult with just one person to do the production elements. But I have that, so that's one of the questions I have now. Should I put that out behind the paywall and have people just buy the show? The one that I was recording in Bucharest, I don't know. If, for example, if it's not likely that I will come to your city in the next year, for example, let's say if you're in Indonesia or if you're in the US or Canada, it's very unlikely that I'll come to your city in the next year, I think. We don't know what COVID looks like. I don't know what visa looks like. Would you want to buy it online? And let me know in the comment section or send me a message on Instagram if that's the case. Maybe I'll set it up and give you guys an opportunity to watch the whole show So the first show was the one with Magda. It was pretty good. The interactions went well. We had a lot of people in the audience. The second show was very good feedback loops with the audience. People from all over Romania. We had some people that were also traveling from different parts of Europe that were Romanians living there and coming back for Christmas. And a good mix of the first core audience were the people that basically had seen a comedy online. They convinced their friends to come along and watch the show, and the friends were happy with it. So it was pretty fun to see the network effect. Yes, the people sharing the good news. Dragos is in town. Dragos is in town. Who? And then they enjoyed the show, which was very important because I tried to, again, when you do stuff about Romania to Romanians, obviously you wanna adjust it a bit so it's not from the outside perspective. You've left Romania and that's how we're doing it. They're still obviously there. So pretty good. The second show on Monday, basically, according to the staff, the audience was more reactive. I thought both shows were like particularly good, but one of the ladies staff there, they were like, oh, they laughed more this time. I was like, maybe that's the case. But again, very fun interactions with the audience. A lot of Romanians, they jumped in, they pitched in. We took some photos at the end. It was fun to see some people that had seen my show already in Berlin, not the actual show, but like my crowdwork shows. They had visited Berlin. They came back to see this hour. And it was fun to see the enthusiasm. It's nice to be wanted. You know what I mean? It's nice to people to, I was like, oh, you made it. And we've been following you for so long. And some people were like obviously thankful because like it was helped me throughout the pandemic. And it's always good to get that feedback and be like, oh, look, my art, my work is helping people. It's a very big confidence boost, I guess, this whole trip to Romania. And a good way to wrap up 2021, which is obviously a bit of a hectic year, but a year of growth, if you will. Yes, a year of growth. Because we had 7 months of lockdown, and it was financially not the best time of life. But now with these shows and doing well, it's like, oh yeah, it's left a good taste in my mouth. That's what she said. So going forward at the moment, I'm just trying to figure out exactly, it's so many things pulling in so many directions, and I'm like, how do I focus properly on the things that I want to do? And I think the things that I do want to do is write more comedy, focus on the stand-up, and obviously create more of this content, maybe with guests, and try to do more funny business. Maybe try to, I don't know, maybe make some commentary on my jokes. Maybe I was thinking of doing NFTs. I don't know if you guys want NFTs. If you know what NFTs are. Non-fungible tokens, which I usually just think of them as a way to invest in talent, for I am talent now. But I'm still debating that and whatnot, and just trying to figure out exactly, what is the path forward for like the next year. I'm thinking maybe this is where you can help me out with like decisions or like options or anything of the sorts or input, right? Because I'm thinking, would it be wise to potentially start doing live streams? Maybe I was thinking one thing of doing is learning Spanish on Duolingo, or perhaps one of the other things that I should be doing is maybe just, I don't know, doing something on Twitch, playing chess, and other forms of online content. I don't know exactly what you guys are into, but obviously I could probably try to, one thing that I would like to do is maybe do the GPT-free thing, the artificial intelligence, write jokes to artificial intelligence live on YouTube, or even Facebook or whatever. But I would like to focus more on some community engagement, I guess, in the coming year. This is not like my goals for 2021 are these, but it's more like some of the thoughts in my mind at the moment, right? Because definitely one thing that I do want to do next year is I want to do more shows and try out more material and write new stuff. And with this I have some help at the moment with setting up shows, but it is still, you'd have to request and put in the request. If you want me to do a show in your city, join my website now. My website, big shout out to Eric for helping me set up my website. Dragoscomedy.com is live after years of requests and work. No, it's just like me being slow on replying. So you can request a show there, and I will come and I'll do a show in your city. If there's enough people, right? I also did some shows in Budapest earlier this December, and those went really well as well. So I'll be going back to Budapest. I'm going to be doing that Balkan tour, baby. Balkan tour is coming in 2022 as soon as the pandemic closes up. But I'm just thinking of different ways of like, creating more content and getting more jokes out there, and even crossing the ocean. For you see, if you are interested in updates, one of the biggest updates from the TikTok perspective is that now my number 2 following is coming from the US. So 10% of my audience, 17% of my audience is from Romania, and then 10% is now from the US. So I'm trying to think as well, like, what are the opportunities for expanding to America or North America? But we'll have to wait and see exactly how that looks. If you're from the US and if you're listening to this from America and whatnot, let me know what you think. Where should I come? How do I get a visa? Where is it going to be, the comedy? Canada, we don't know. But I am going to Mexico. I'm going to go to Mexico at the end of the year to go visit my girlfriend who's there, and I'm going to make some videos from there, maybe some vlogging content of sorts. 2 weeks in Mexico. I'm currently in the process of trying to set up a show in Mexico. I'm having difficulties because the venues are not replying to me because I do not speak fluent Spanish, Espanol. But if you know any venues, please recommend me the venues. This is the biggest problem. If I would come to all the places if I had easy access to venues, right? And venues that don't charge me 50%. Oh yeah, let's get enough production talk. I would also be happy to talk to you about, I watched the latest Louis C.K. special. It was interesting. I didn't think it was as strong as Sincerely. It's called Sorry, but basically it's just jokes. I feel like a lot of these specials, they don't have like as tight of a narrative, but again, they're just supposed to have comedy in them, right? And this is one of the directions that I'm currently asking myself. How much jokes, how much narrative do you want to put in? Will it be a one-man show type of interaction? I do want to do more dark comedy, some controversial stuff, just because it's funny, not offensive or anything. But also people love the crowd work, so I'm trying to, like, for this next hour of sorts, that might put up actually. You know what? Maybe I will just put up the 1 hour and just write some new stuff. Like if there's a whole pandemic, if I go to Mexico and just put my brain to the pedal to the metal, as they say, and write more content. But I think it'll be fun to develop more podcasts, talk about different. We did the thing with Daniel Olel, the last podcast. If you checked out the last podcast, we're talking about things happening in Europe, giving opinions, sharing sources of knowledge. You know what I would like to do? I think that success is a lot of times predicated. Look at this vocabulary. Wow. As you can see, I'm now also a bit more comfortable talking in front of the camera and on the podcast to myself. I'm giving myself notes and commentaries as I go through the flow. Also hand gestures. Yay, thank you Italians. I've learned this from you. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I think what I would like to do in the 2022 is focus some more on finding out what tools do people use to move themselves forward, right? Because, for example, I would need to find out what kind of tool I need for recording. I want to know what we use for editing. How do I lessen my workload by using better tools? I think this is a podcast that I would want to listen to. I would like to maybe conduct a podcast on introducing the right tools for accelerating your growth in a particular area. You know, like, say if I want to learn Spanish, what's the best tool for learning Spanish? If I want to learn German, what's the best tool for learning German? If I want to maximize and speed up my editing, what are the best tools? And I recently bought the new MacBook, the M1 Pro, and bro, when it comes to tools, this is a beast. You see this? Do you see these dogs out here? Joe Byron. See, this laptop is a fucking machine. It has saved me so much time, well worth the money on. It has saved me so much time on editing because it's just rendering so much faster. So again, that's what I would like to do. Like, I think my genuine interest is to do a podcast and talk about tools. How do you speed up your work? How do you spend less time working and more time creating? This is something that I'll be interested in. And I was also thinking of maybe in the future, what would I like to do? I'd like to have like a little production company to also help. This year, we helped some comedians out of the propaganda comedy brand, myself and Chris Doring. We helped some comedians film their 1 hours and prepare and produce their 1 hours, because I think there's a big gap in producing for Europe because there's no financial incentives, there's not enough money in the industry. This is the truth, right? Until Netflix shows up and gives me a bag of money. But we helped Pavlo and Freddie Grell do their 1 hour shows, and actually I think that was definitely something I enjoyed quite a lot. It was very fun for me to do that, and I think definitely, you know, a production company that enables other creatives to do stuff would be something that I'd like to kind of be involved with. So if you're doing something like that, let me know. Maybe it might be fun to do something together. Just basically kind of like help more content out there. More content in English from non-native English speakers. This is what I'm about. More content in English from non-native English speakers, That is something that I would like to focus on in 2022, because look, the majority of us, the majority of the people in the world, we consume content in English, but that's all we do. We consume instead of create, and we want to create more, to just spread out and unlock stories that are locked in different languages. This is what I want to enable. So if you have any connection to that, reach out. Let's do this together. Let's unlock stories that are locked into countries because of language, and into languages, into cultures, countries. They're locked in there because of the language. Let's get more people to tell stories in English, such as I and other comedians here in Berlin. Oh, this has gone down the philosophical route. Well, I think in terms of these are the ideas that are currently bouncing through my head. Bounce. Also, I have merch. Now I have merch. This is true. The potato hat. I think I bought my own merch and it's getting delivered to my house, so I'm gonna go wear it. So if you want to buy some merch, there's some links in the bottom. I have a potato hat. I have communism, which I thought it was hilarious. You guys didn't think it was that hilarious because you didn't buy as much. The very okay shirts. And I'll try to do more stuff going forward. NFTs, merch, these are like stuff for monetizations on the side. Again, if there's a lot of demand, maybe I'll do it. But this is where my head is at the moment. Just to wrap it all up, I had fun in Romania. I'll come back. Thanks a lot for everybody that came to the shows out in Romania, in Budapest as well before Romania. And thank you for coming to my shows whenever you come to my shows. It helps. It's a big of help. And I'm happy to see people coming out and enjoying the content and the culture. I think there's a lot. The road, we're only at the start of the road, and I think I'm looking forward to what's to come. I will also now make it a point to do this once a week, this podcast, okay? It's gonna happen whether you like it or not. Call to actions. Do I have call to actions for you? Just, I don't know, just like the videos, send it to your friends, let me know. If you didn't like the sound, I think I am going to wait to change the sound until nothing will complain about it, okay? I'm gonna get a fucking proper recorder and move things along until it's to where it needs to be. It's slowly moving in that direction, but it's just so many things, so many skill sets. I just need to know what the tools are for me to, do I need a zoom? Do I need stuff on the walls, foam? I'm gonna try to move into a bigger apartment as well and convert one room into a studio. This is one of the plans. So I guess in this situation there's a lot of production level up coming in 2022. If you guys want it, and also maybe Twitch streaming live, whatever's. Well, I guess this is it for now. Thanks a lot. The Dragos Energy Podcast, as you can see, it's a lot of chaotic energy, but there's also some forces of order in there. Thanks a lot for listening. Let me know if you have questions, if you have feedback. Let me know. I put a couple of things in there for you guys to think about. Paywall for the Bucharest show, or what price would you be willing to pay? Do you want NFTs? Do you want merch? What do you want from me? Thanks a lot. Merry Christmas, amigos, amigas, todos los hombres, everybody in the world. I'm gonna mejorar mi español and improve my Spanish because I'm going to Mexico. But thanks a lot, guys. Have a nice evening. Have a nice week. Merry holidays. Happy Christmas. And I'll see you in the next podcast, which is going to happen in 1 week. Yay, isn't that right, Drag? It's going to happen in 1 week, right? It is going to happen in 1 week. Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. Bye, guys. Thanks a lot for listening.